Good morning, Nasser. This is Rich, your teacher. So I'm looking over your homework real quick. And here's the two-way ANOVA by hand. So what are the null hypothesis? No significant difference between the sales volume between managers and or the training process, right? The null always states that training doesn't matter, the different manager doesn't matter, and the null always states that there's no difference between anything. Okay, so you got that part right. Alternative hypothesis is there is a difference somewhere. Okay, good. Okay, so this is Marty with training, Marty with no training, Juan with training. Good setup. Calculated those bracket terms, did you? Man, oh man, that weren't those fun. And you got your sum of squares all lined up here. Looks good to me. Degrees of freedom. Mean squares. Let's get down to the money. Bam, your F. So you're between group A. That's your managers. That's a real small F. Oh, good. You put out the critical Fs from the book, right? So your calculated F of 3.17 is less than the critical book F. So therefore, you do not have a significant difference. In other words, the different managers didn't seem to have an effect on auto sales by themselves, okay? So that means there's no main effect of your variable A or the managers. The managers had no main effect. So group B was the training, right? They either had training or not training. Got a huge F. So that means there is a serious significant difference between the number of auto sales between those people that had the training and not. So the training seems to be effective. And this one, normally when we write this, we just put A star B, that little asterisk that tells everybody that we're talking about interaction. But again, you said that there's a significant interaction. So those are all correct. So now I'm going to look at your write-up here. Was conducted to analyze significant. Okay, so you told us what they were doing. Okay, based on our calculations, with three different managers, there is no significant difference between. That part is correct. Bam. But you see this? You wrote this up wrong. Okay, watch. It should be F. Here, let me clean this up for you. It should look like this. It should be F parentheses 2 comma 224 close parentheses equals that, and then a comma, and the p is always a little p, baby p. Bam. So if you want to get fancy, and a lot of people do, you could put the alpha level right here of 0.05. That's the critical alpha that was used, and then you could go up to your bar up here and turn it into a subtext. Okay, so that's the way that should have looked. But the actual calculations are correct. So this one's the same one. Let's clean it up a little bit. It should be F 0.05 parentheses 1 comma 24 close parentheses comma little p, and I'm going to shrink these. Okay, so it should look like that. And then this one again, right? The F comes first, 0.05 comes second, parentheses, 2 comma 24 close parentheses, comma, little p. Okay, and I'm shrinking my 0.05 here. So that's the proper way to write these up, okay? But your conclusions are correct and your calculations are correct. So, but I am going to have to knock off a couple of points for this part. But it looks very, very good. Wasn't that fun? And this will be the last one you have to do by hand. So, congratulations. All right, let me look at part 2. Okay, here's homework number 2. I'm already seeing some mistakes here. So, you say each category has 3 levels. You should probably list the levels. Okay, so if it says benefit packages, you might want to put in parentheses and then list the 3 different benefit packages, okay? And then the same with the financial incentives, right, or the general, the financials. I got to apologize. I switched the name from general to financial right in the middle of the darn thing. But one was they got free dental, more vacation, and increased medical. And then for the financial side, it was either stock options, more commission, and increased retirement. Okay, so put those in there. Put the levels in there. Okay. Okay, so based on the calculations, but there is a significant difference between. You don't need to put the before and after. You could just put there was a significant difference between the financial incentives, and that is written up wrong. Let me show you how to write that up. So you're going to scroll down to your ANOVA box, right? Your test of between subjects box. So for your A group, right, that was your financial incentives or whatever one you put in order. Order doesn't matter, but be careful because I get the A's and the B's mixed up when I'm doing these. So the A is the first variable, B is the second variable. From now on, you can just name them. Like you can name this one financial incentives and name this one benefits packages or vice versa. So whichever one you did. But now, so to write it up properly, you get the degrees of freedom for that variable. It's 2. And that's your between groups degrees of freedom. Your second is your error term, 245. So yours should have looked like this. F at 2,45 close parentheses equals, okay, comma, little p less than 0.05. Get rid of that second parentheses, okay? So they need to look like this. I want you to go back and look at the examples that I put up there in PDFs and all the other ones, okay? So, in fact, this homework assignment will be turned on by the time you get this video. So I want you to go in and look how you write up your test results. Let's keep going. So, again, these all need to be fixed. Make sure you put them like this. And we're supposed to mention the alpha level. Most of us automatically assume it when we put the P is less than 0.05, but depending on your teacher, some of them might want to put that in there. Okay, so if you want to get fancy, you can make it look like this. But practice these. All right, let's keep looking. So this is how many people were in each group, under which condition. Okay. Descriptive statistics, there's all your means and everything. You can tell right off the bat that this group's mean is much higher than the rest of the group's mean. But because you said there was an interaction, we got to be careful, right? Was there a main effect of benefits packages? In other words, was there a significant difference between just the benefits packages? And or was there a significant difference between the financial incentives? So there was for one, but not for the other, okay? So the Levene's test is good. That means you did not violate the assumption of homogeneity variance. And here's your ANOVA box. Okay, so your first variable group, whichever one you put in there was a significant difference, okay? There's your F, and there's your P value right there. So your next group was 0.052. It was not significant, barely, right? We can call this borderline if we want to, but we're not gonna. And this, it states that there was a significant interaction between the groups. And here's your power box. Okay, so your power is pretty good, except for the B level. It's not very good, but don't need the grand means. Post hoc test. Let's look at your post hoc test. So there was a significant difference between stock options and commissions, which is different than what I got. I think you might have got your variables mixed up, or maybe I did. It wouldn't be the first time. But this is how you tell where the significant difference is, right? Because that the significant level is less than 0.05. That means there's a difference between this guy and that guy. And there's another one that's less than 0.5. So between retirement and commission, there's a significant difference. And commission and everything else. So don't need confidence intervals for this one. I do not need homogeneous subsets. So when you cut and paste this stuff from SPSS, don't give me these boxes that I really don't need, okay? So here's a Tukey test. So this is your variable that had no main effect. You'll notice that the significant levels are all over 0.05. So it means there was no significant difference between that group, okay? So this would have been your variable B, the one that had no significant difference. Let me double check that. Correct, right? No significant difference in the B. So your Tukey test, you wouldn't look up a Tukey test if there was no main effect of that variable. Okay, so don't look up a Tukey test unless you have a significant F for that variable. Okay, let's look at your profile plots. Yeah, and these are perfect. You could see that they're crossing all over the place, which means there's interaction galore. But that's it. Stay tuned. I'm going to send everybody out a next homework assignment. So stay tuned. But thank you so much for working so hard. I'm very happy with your progress. MGZ out.